Hello and welcome to the first video in this countdown to WWE 13. Over the next 7 days I'm going to be playing various WWE games, mainly the Smackdown series, with some of my favourite superstars, old and new obviously. I know that in America it's out on the 30th, which is about 4 days now, but unfortunately us in the UK have to wait till Friday, which is the 2nd of November, to get our hands on the game. So really it is mainly a countdown for the UK, but you know it fits in as well with America and well, I think it's other territories should get it this week hopefully. So it's, you know, it's trying really to cater for everybody. I was going to do it on Tuesday, but I was just thinking Friday would be better, but actually thinking it probably would have been better on Tuesday. But yeah, anyway, today's superstar is Stone Cold. He personally was one of my favourites in the Attitude Era. Well, I say the Attitude Era. It was probably late Attitude Era for me because I didn't really sort of watch WWE or that that era of it till about 99, 2000. I think I stopped watching it about 2001. Because I first got into wrestling when I was about, it's hard to say, it was early. I say early 90s, maybe mid 90s. I remember it used to be on a Saturday afternoon. WWE, WWF then obviously. And one of my first superstars or wrestlers, whichever you prefer to call them, was Hulk Hogan. Now that's probably the same for a lot of wrestling fans. I don't know, really, looking back on it, I don't know what it is. It's like when I watch some old matches with him in it, I get that sort of feeling again, like when I was a kid. And you know, he is pretty much what John Cena is to kids today, I suppose. You know, I just thought he was amazing, and it's really hard to explain why, really, as I was so young. Another superstar at that sort of time I really liked as well was Sting. I remember I had his action figure. Is when he had blonde hair. Because I also did have the Hogan one as well, and I kind of thought he was Superman throwing down the stairs, and unfortunately he wasn't Superman because my toy broke, and I was very gutted about the whole thing. But that's toys for you. Another sort of favourite of mine as well after Hulk Hogan, because I sort of when I was watching it, because they stopped doing it on Saturdays, I remember, and I sort of went off it and didn't get back into it till about 99, 2000, as I said. I remember I used to watch Smackdown on a Saturday morning or afternoon, I think it was. So it was about, I think it was mid-morning, and I remember used to watching that. But unfortunately we had some problems with Sky at the time, and we decided, my mum decided to go back to the normal TV, so we could only really watch Sunday Night Heat on Channel 4, and I think sort of after a while they stopped doing that. I do remember last time I watched it, at that time I watched it was in 2001, where the ECW and WCW Alliance invasion thing occurred. I remember that. But sort of around that time, I think my two favourites probably were Stone Cold and The Rock. They did have quite a few rap matches together, and it was really annoying because I didn't know which one to root for, really. That was probably the point where I still thought wrestling was real, and yeah, I kind of found out it wasn't. I was a little bit gutted at first, but then I think now when I sometimes do watch it, I just sort of I try to pretend it is. I know that sounds silly, but I think that's how the best way to enjoy it for me. Even sometimes I know I don't really pretend, and I think it's still entertaining, really. So, but sort of in between, like, well, after I stopped watching, sort of in between when I stopped watching on Sky, I was able to watch WCW on Channel 5, I think it was. I still quite enjoy watching. I think it's Friday nights, and I really got into WCW actually. I probably at the time I enjoyed it probably more than WWE or WWF as it was called. But then I can't remember. I stopped watching that. Sort of just got off wrestling in 2001, I think it was. Just after that invasion thing happened, and so I never did actually I never found out what happened, but I did watch it on YouTube, so I did find out what happened. But then I stopped watching it for quite a while. I didn't sort of watch it till I was in my I'll say mid to late teenage years. I'd probably say late teenage years, about 17 I think it was. I mean, I think it was 2005 I got back into it. Is when John Cena first come to Raw, if I remember correctly. What it was is I remember picking up Smackdown versus Raw really cheap at the time. Well, I think my sister did, I can't remember. And I just really got into it. And I was like, I'll have to try and find out how you can. I kind of really got into it again, and because I used to be able to at the time, I think you still can. You used to be able to watch clips of what happened on the website, WWE website. So I used to watch it there, and then on Sunday mornings they do have, I can't remember what it's called now. I used to watch that, find out what happened in the week. So it was a way of watching it. Because I still don't have Sky Sports, but I'm a bit naughty and do watch it on the internet. But a lot of people do. For me, it's the only way I can watch it really at the moment. And I do have quite a few of the DVDs and stuff anyway, so I do buy them occasionally. There's mainly the games I really play now. Yeah, I think the thing that I really liked about Stone Cold was just the stuff he come up with, like the beer truck stunt and all that. I mean, a lot of it I didn't see, which I've sort of seen on YouTube. So it's kind of annoying that I missed quite a lot of his good stuff. But I will post a video for the younger viewers who don't know a lot about Stone Cold, or the people like me who might not have. There are people who probably didn't watch it when he was around and sort of got into it now as well. So I'll post it for people who don't know too much about him. There's actually a hilarious video going around. Well, I think it's going around at the moment. I only found it the other day. There's a guy who's dressed up as E.T. And he goes up to a fast food drive-through and does an impression of Stone Cold, and it's just absolute. I was in tears watching it from laughter, and my sister seeing it, and she absolutely thought it was hilarious as well. So I will post that as well. It's really worth a watch. It is hilarious. It's probably one of the funniest things on YouTube at the moment. So yeah, do watch that if you do have time. It's just his outrageous attitude where he used to do the middle things and all that. I think he made I think for a lot of people being a rebel is kind of cool, but I think he really did show that. It was just his attitude was hilarious, and he was kind of like the troll of WWE. He used to wind people up and stuff, and it was just hilarious to watch him. Really, he's probably one of the best at the time. So that's why I chose to play as him today and sort of talk about him. For the next part of the video, I'm probably just going to talk about the game now. This is a game that did come out in 2003, if I'm correct, because this is when I wasn't into WWE. I only bought it. I'm trying to think when I did actually buy it. It was a couple of months back actually. In Game Station, I bought all the WWE games that are on PlayStation 2. I say all of them. Everything from 2000. Well, it was just bring it all the way through to Smackdown vs Raw 2007. I think it cost me £2 for the lot, which I thought was an absolute bargain at the time. I was quite chuffed with that. Excuse me. I've had so much fun playing them. So that's the best. Some of them were actually 49p each, I think. So it might have been a bit more than £2, but it was something £2 something, roughly. I went with the rough price. The bad thing really was shut your mouth. I'm not actually telling anybody to shut their mouth. That's actually the name of the game. It's one of the Rock's catchphrases. But yeah, I do sorry if I keep making the noise in my throat. It's actually really sore today, so I do apologise. So I was just having a drink there. With my copy of just Shut Your Mouth, and I'm not telling anybody to shut their mouth. My copy of that, because it is pre-owned. When I go to save it, it keeps saying something about error. So it says there's no memory card in slot 1. That's it. And so unfortunately I can't save it, which is really annoying. But I might not use that. So that was quite funny there. That's double Stone Cold Stunner. Because back in those games, I think it was in Know Your Role as well. You can have finishing moves as special moves. Rey Mysterio is probably one of my favourites at the moment. Actually, I didn't sort of touch on my favourites at the moment, but I will be doing some videos on some of my current favourites anyway. So I'll talk more about that. But he is one of my favourites at the moment. But I was really annoyed to see how damage threshold he had was really poor on this game, because I think I like reversed and he went straight yellow. We're currently fighting Lord Tentai, as he's called now. I didn't actually realise it was him. I thought it looked he looked familiar, and then I sort of looked it up and I thought, oh, that's who it is, because I wasn't sure it was. I think it was Albert. It used to be called, because I remember him as Testing Albert. So that's who I thought it was. I wasn't sure if it was him at first, so I looked it up. Excuse me again. I love it when he goes straight to KO. It just makes it just looks so good. I do remember Big Show in WCW when he used to be called the Giant, because I remember one of the storylines he had a neck brace on, and I remember everybody kept going for him all the time and trying to hit him in the neck. I can't do that animation now. I was trying to do the stunner animate. That's the stunner move that we did on Ray. It's actually really good seeing some of the old people, well, the wrestlers that have sort of moved on to TNA and other independent wrestling and all that. It's good to sort of see some of them come back in these games as well. Well, they're not coming back; they were in these games. I think the only one that sort of isn't been in WWE for a long time that we sort of faced is Matt Hardy there. Oh, there he is, lying on the floor. It's quite funny because I really used to like the Hardy Boys back when I used to watch it. I don't know why. I remember everybody used to really like Jeff, and I think I can't remember. I think I used to prefer Matt for some reason. I don't know why. Jeff was always the favourite. I remember. For some reason I preferred Matt. I don't know why. I think everybody's got their favourite, and some people can explain why they're their favourite. I don't remember why, but they used to be one of my favourite tag teams at the time. I think they were very different at the time because they weren't. Out of all the tag teams, I think they were sort of really daredevilish, weren't they? If I remember correctly, because I think that was probably the reason why I used to like Matt. I think back then he used to do a lot of aerial moves, whereas, well, the last time I seen him in WWE, he didn't tend to do it. But I think someone did say to me that it was something to do with the back injury or something he had. I'm not entirely sure why that was. But I think when the Hardy Boys had their recent run in, well, I'd say recent, about 3 years ago, wasn't it? For Jeff anyway. I prefer Jeff when they come back. Jeff was more, well, he's more because of the Daredevil thing, really. He probably was one of my favourites at the time. I think this was actually the first game that Kane didn't have his mask. I could be wrong on that. I didn't actually find out he lost his mask till I got back into it in about 2005, 2006. I kind of didn't like it when he lost his mask because I kind of think that was his best thing with the mask. So when he lost it, it kind of was a bit weird because it's quite intriguing to see what he looked like. When but when you sort of found out, I think that was he lost his character because you know what he looks like. And I think now with his masked character, it's not the same because you know what he looks like. Kane, I did like Kane for quite a bit actually. He's one of my. I don't know why, because I don't really like those sort of monstrous sort of things, like horror type looking characters. So I don't know why, but I remember just. He was one of my favourites for some reason. I can't quite remember. Also, Booker T was another one of my favourites as well. I remember him in WCW mainly. I remember when he turned up during that Alliance storyline in 2001, I think it was. It was quite good to see him on WWE, and it wasn't until I got Smackdown versus Raw that I seen he was still in it. I think that's the first character I played as on it in career mode. I remember, I think this was the first game where you could steal finishes as well. I could be wrong on that. I think I am, but I'm not entirely sure. But the only problem with it is it does take 2 finishes up. But I thought, them two, they were always doing each other's finishes, so I just thought it was quite funny. I think this was only the only game that Kevin Nash was on that was a WWE game till 2012. I don't remember him being in Shut Your Mouth, so could be wrong. I actually might just say WWE Shut Your Mouth because it's really annoying. Because I'm not. It sounds, if you weren't paying attention, it actually sounds like I am telling someone to shut their mouth, and I'm actually not. But this is probably Here Comes the Pain is probably one of the best WWE games in well, I think it's everybody's pretty much favourite. I think the other one was I think it was No Mercy on the N64. I think that was the one. Everybody says it's really good. I can't remember now. It does come up quite a lot. I never had an N64, so I didn't play it. I think it was that one that everybody really liked. I could be wrong, but I remember out of the PlayStation games, this was everybody's favourite, and I think everybody thought, well, the way WWE 12 was hyped, everybody seemed to think it was going to, be the first game in a long time that would actually top it, and unfortunately, it had its share of problems, and it really wasn't as good as everybody thought it was going to be, which was a bit of a letdown. I personally at first liked it, but sort of looking back on it, it wasn't that great a game. It was kind of a shame, really, but I think the servers online really let it down, and from what I've heard, THQ have really gone out of their way to fix it this year. So fingers crossed we'll have a better run this year. It's just unfortunate it has took this long to it took a year, well, to the next game to get it properly sorted, but it's nothing. It was annoying, but it's just one of those things, unfortunately. I really couldn't figure out how to get Kevin Nash off that bike just now, and I thought, I'll try and jump on top of him, because I thought if you climbed up on the trailer of the truck thing, he would try and come up there, but it didn't work the way I planned, and unfortunately I got really badly damaged, so it isn't good. I think this is the last room now as well. This is more of a survival than a time limit, like the other Slobber Knocker, which I'll probably have a go on tomorrow, for tomorrow's video. I really do hate it when you have to fight a character that died in wrestling. I feel it's very disrespectful to fight them. I was actually quite shocked when I heard Eddie Guerrero died, because I don't think I was watching it when it occurred. So I think it was, actually I say it's 2005, I think it's 2006 I got back into wrestling again. I could be wrong. I really can't remember, but I know it was November 2005 when he died. And I was really kind of shocked, because I do remember him as part of that looked like a little group. I think it was called the Radicals. I could be wrong. With some WCW wrestlers. Which I think it was Chris Benoit. I can't remember the other two's names now. I really do forget, unfortunately. But I just remember that. Yeah, I really hate fighting someone when they die. A character that's that died. I know Eddie was still alive during this game. But yeah, it was really quite unfortunate how he died, really. I don't know the full details, really, but it's just, when someone does die at that age, it is really quite tragic. Same with Chris Benoit. I'm not really going to get into that, and I don't really want to upset people by saying anything wrong or anything like that. I have my own views on it. I think everybody's got their own views on it. I appreciate why WWE have done what they've done by raising him. I can understand why they've done it. I don't really know what to say on it, really. I think what I'm going to say on it, and this is all I'm going to say on it, is he was great at what he did, and it was just unfortunate how what happened. But I think a lot of people choose to forget him forget what he did and remember him from where he was. And you know, he was great at what he did. I think he was very underrated. Well, I don't think he was underrated. I think, you know, everybody recognised his talent. I think he just didn't get the recognition he did in on WWE. I could be wrong on that. I don't think he got the push he could have got. I know he won the title the one time, wasn't it? But you know, I think he could have. He really should have got more of a push, really. But I don't know. I think earlier, really. But you know, he was great at what he did. Kurt Angle is another great. You know, he's great at what he does, but he really wasn't a character I could get on with. I didn't really like his character at all. He's just not my cup of tea, really. That's the end of this video, so thank you very much for watching.